Wow, Karine, you're wearing the exact same thing as in the previous video. I know, it's because I filmed these all in the same day. I've got my phone set up, but the camera is like here, and like the thing, it's weird. So if I'm like looking off that way, it's because I'm having a hard time today. Previous video, I showed you guys my first two bullet journals. This video, I'm going to talk about why, or rather the change I made, and then why I'm going back to bullet journaling. In the year of our Lord 2018, aka this year, I decided I was going to change things up and not exclusively use a bullet journal. So I went basically, instead of having like one journal to keep everything in, I went to having 4 notebooks for separate aspects of my life. As Philip DeFranco says, let's just jump right in. So the first notebook that I think really decided this for me was this one. This is, some of you, if you're on YouTube a lot, maybe you'll recognize this. This is the 2018 Fit Planner by Cassie Ho, aka the person who started Blogilates. This might not be surprising if you were really like reading my bullet journal while I was flipping through it. In the previous video, you might have seen like Pit 28 and other things that she, like other fitness programs that she really made. I've been a fan of hers for a long time, since I was in college, which at this point, my senior year was like 4 years ago. And I knew she was, I think I started following her my junior or sophomore year. So 2012, actually. Fun YouTube fitness history time. I have the first fitness journal that she ever made. And I remember when you purchased this, I think it came with a plan or something, and I had that too. Like, I really liked her. It was just it was an Asian YouTuber with this fun, genuine personality who was like, oh, does that hurt? I know it hurts. It hurts me too, but we're gonna keep going. Like, it's like, okay, cool. We're talking about fitness here. But yeah, I have her very first fitness journal, and I have a hard time with sticking something for longer than 2 weeks. This was an on and off thing. Like, I bought it and it's supposed to be for 12 weeks, but I used it over the course of 3 years. Like, I got it when I was 20, and then I was still using it when I was 22. I would just restart and rewrite all my stats. But yeah, so I went from purchasing this to purchasing this, which this is like the 5 years after this one. That glow up though. And it's, yeah. So I saw this and I knew she had made like a school year one, and I thought it looked really pretty. And she'd made like a fit planner before or whatnot. But then this one I really wanted because she has a setup I really like, where it's like a weekly hourly layout. And I knew she had this in the student one, so I thought if she has this in like the life one, then I really want it. Because again, I used this when I was in college, this exact sort of Google Calendar looking setup, and it helped me stay on track so much because I was able to track like my class schedule, when I could fit homework in, like my club stuff, everything. Like, I literally printed that template out every single week and filled it out in the beginning of the week, and then I would put it in my binder and look at it all the time. But I think, you know, it worked for college because I had so much going on. Like, I would take 20 credits and work 3 jobs or something, and there's also homework, and I was president of a club, so it helped me to keep track of everything. But now in my adult life, for half of a year while I was using this, the only real obligation I had was work. So the only thing I was really scheduling was, this is when I'm at work, and then this is when I'm not at work. And here's the art stuff that I want to do when I'm at work, and then sometimes doctor appointments and whatever. So that's kind of foreboding, like, why that sort of weekly layout isn't really working for me as much, because I'm not as busy as I used to be, or that I think I am, or whatever. So yeah, this was the first thing that I purchased. And then, because I follow Boho Berry, aka Cara Benz, she's pretty good friends with Lisa Jacobs, and she was pitching this book, which is Your Best Year 2018. And since last year was really when I came to terms with like, oh, I want to be an artist. I want to make my own art. I want to be like my own boss. I thought, and Boho Berry is this whole like entrepreneur. Lisa Jacobs is an entrepreneur, self-made woman. And they're really pushing this as a good planner for achieving your goals and staying on track of your business and stuff like that. Because your best life or your best year originally started as a business tracker. So I was like, okay, cool, I'll purchase this too. She's got a sale going on, so why not? So I had those two. And then this was a notebook that I won at a con from spinning a wheel, like a convention from spinning a wheel. So I had this notebook, and then I asked for another Loic term for Christmas for my next one. And this one I really like. Like, look at it. It's on Amazon and it doesn't advertise this, but it's so pretty. Like, how? Anyways, so what was I going to do with all of these 4 notebooks? So, the bullet journal, I'll start with that. This is going to be the bullet journal I move into. At first I was playing with the idea of like, I'll buy a new one, but I mean, I've barely used this. I might, like, it's more cost efficient to just use this one that I already have. But yeah, for this, what I was going to do was make it like a perpetual notebook. This is, again, like all the stuff I just inspired by car events, essentially. Like she's gone through a lot of different tracking systems too. She tried like Traveler's Notebook, now she's doing digital planning. So I thought like a perpetual notebook where it would just be like, I would put my yearly resolutions as each year came, and then I would keep in there collections or lists that I didn't want to have to keep reusing and removing and everything like that. So this has like my 2018 theme of the year, my mission statement for 2018, my New Year's resolutions, my quarterly goals. So you can see here, quarter 4 isn't filled out yet because I don't know what's going to happen in Q4 yet. I have this was my new Life in Pixels, which I did monochrome. So basically it was just, if it's completely colored in, then I'm in a good mood. And if it's this, then it's mostly good. If it's this, it's half and half. And if I don't color it in, then it's not a good time. Because I figured I would be too overwhelmed or something would be wrong that I wouldn't have the motivation to color it in. So I thought that was an efficient system. In like level 10 life, like what do I want to read? What have I read? What do I want to watch? What have I watched? What do I want to save for? Projects, challenges, things to do, things to see, like my 2018 memories, my birthday capsule. The last thing I wrote in here, my vision board ideas. So yeah, I've only really used 25 pages in this book so far, and the book is like 250 pages. So the goal was this book would last me like 10 years or something, because I would just put each year's collections in there and I would have like one place where I could look all of that up. But yeah, so that was my thought. I'm just going to go over what each of the purposes were, what I was thinking. This one was going to have my finances. So I was just going to put like my budgets, my plans, like my new budgets, my actual expenses, business things, like what do I want to do for art, etc., things like that. This kind of became the catch-all brain dump book that used to be all just in my bullet journal. And then this, even though this is a really pretty notebook, like the layout is so pretty, I like the more, like, that's pretty. This is a really pretty notebook, but I just wasn't using it as much as I should. Like, I don't know if it was the structure, I don't know if it was where I was in my life, but I don't know if there's just so many options that you can feel a little overwhelmed or whatever. Like, first of all, I barely worked out this year, so I didn't even use the Fit Journal for what I should have used it for. But it's just like look at this. Like, I didn't use like this whole thing, and like I kind of used it there. But I think that's kind of a gripe that a lot of people have about planners and why they move to bullet journals in the first place, is they don't use it and then it's just empty space. And like you can see the waste. So it's a shame because I think it is a good planner. I think maybe if I was in school that I would be using it a lot more often because I would need to, because I'd have a ton more things to track. Maybe if there's more stuff going on in my life, or it was just busier maybe, or maybe I'm just not in the right mental state for it or what, I don't know, but I'm just haven't been using it as much as I'd like. Which is a shame because like I said, it's a very pretty, cute notebook. But yeah, initially my plan for this was to do my daily planning in, and it barely happened. Like, I don't think I've used it daily consistently for more than 3 days. It turned into weekly or bi-weekly or whatever. And then the Your Best Year was supposed to be like an overview of like there's some things I like about this. The size was new for me, as I've never worked with a planner this big before. But like she'll have, you know, the like your annual objectives, and then your quarter one, like she breaks everything down into quarters too, and like progress log, and she'll have the calendar and like, oh, what are you going to focus on for January, and what's your vision for January. And then this layout was really strange for me to get used to. It was just I didn't, like, it took me a little bit to get used to, and then it just went on from there. So this is really like a top-down bird's eye view of like, what do you want to accomplish professionally or just in your own life, and keeping track of all that. So the planning system, like the idea behind the planning system's good. I think just how it's presented, it didn't jive as much for me. Like I used it, but it didn't, I don't know. Like sometimes I'd use it and I'd be really good on it, but there's a lot of months or there's a lot of pages where it's just like empty. So I think the thought behind it is good, and I think some people could benefit from it. Like I think there's a couple months in here where I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go hard on here. But I think I touched this once or twice a month, which isn't good because you want to like keep track of it, you know, consistently. I think June was maybe a month where I actually used this quite a bit, but it was still a lot. And I think really what I learned was having 4 different notebooks, even though it was supposed to be for different aspects of my life. Like one is my year-specific professional goals, and then this one's for like just in general, like, oh, here's a book that I read, let me check that off. And then this is supposed to be my daily, and this is my finances. Like having it so divided ended up making planning such a big chore for me. It wasn't as easy as let me just pick up one notebook and then jot something down really quickly. And if I like had a thought and I just wanted to write something out or plan something out, it went into the finance book because that was the only one without any real like structure or intent behind it. It was just like for my budget, which I still do in it. So yeah, it didn't work as much for me, but you know, it was a learning process. I'm glad I found that out. So now at least I know, because I know it can be tempting to be like, oh, this person's using this cool, cute planner and I want to get into it because it looks really cool and all these other people are using it. But it's like, if I hadn't gone through and learned about it and seen how I work, then I wouldn't have known that it wasn't the system for me. And honestly, I think where I went wrong was just trying to compartmentalize so many aspects of my life when they should all be overlapping. Because what I found myself doing a lot, because there's like a mood tracker in the Fit Planner and a habit tracker in the Fit Planner, and then a mood tracker or productivity tracker in the Your Best Year, and then I had my own mood tracker, my bullet journal. So I'd end up like transferring information to 3 separate planners, even though it was the exact same thing. So sometimes it would be okay because I'd like have one on hand so I could fill that out and then only fill that out and then I would transfer it later. But then other times it was just like why am I doing this? You know, I'm writing the same thing over and over and over again. And for me, like I think I do learn by writing. And I think what helps me be productive is if I see it. Like if I constantly see it and it's available for me, then you know, like if you see it, you can't ignore it. Out of sight, out of mind kind of does play a role where you just get distracted and you're not thinking about it. But even though I was writing the same thing down like multiple times, I wasn't seeing it because all the notebooks were closed or they'd be like somewhere in my room or whatever. Like it wasn't just a one-stop shop. It was 3 different places that I had to kind of look. So that was kind of my experience with all these 3 different things. And in terms of, I guess, the value on their own, like the Your Best Year 2018, honestly, it does feel like a supplemental thing. Like, I don't think I could solely rely on that for my planning, but I also haven't tried. But I personally don't really want to. But I mean, if you do it and it works for you, then that's great. But for me, it felt like a supplemental, and it just felt like this extra chore almost. Like maybe what I'll do is take some of the ideas in here and then transfer it to my bullet journal moving forward, especially since I want, like I said, I want my bullet journal moving forward to be like, to service me with my art and my career and just like every aspect of my life. And same with like the fit planner. Like, I didn't use this to track my fitness at all. I think I worked out like 5 times in the year. And there were some good things like reflecting at the end of the year, and they had like a doodle space every week. And like, it's so cute, and by all accounts, it should appeal to me. And again, like, I think this kind of planner, unless you're like a mom with 6 million kids or even 1 kid, and you have a lot of obligations, or you're a grad student, or you're a student, or you just have an incredibly busy life, like multiple jobs or something, then this I think would help you, because it's like Google Calendar, but you can go further in, and it's on paper. And you can also keep track of your fitness too. But if your day is mostly like, I work 1 job and then I come home and I have like 3 hours before I go to bed, which was like my day, then there's not much to keep track of. Like, there's not much to schedule. So yeah, I don't know. I wasn't using it as often as I wanted to, which was a real shame, but I don't regret purchasing it because it was pretty. So yeah, but those were the systems that didn't work for me. And moving forward, I think I'm gonna take this guy with only 25 pages used, and like, I really thought about like, should I just purchase a new bullet journal? Should I purchase a smaller notebook maybe? Should I use like a different notebook for the rest of the year? And then I thought, like, I've already set this up for 2018. Like, it has my 2018 resolutions and whatnot in there. How important is it to me really to have like multiple years in here? My goals will change, things will change. Like, I can easily just also just go to the specific notebook and look at it too. So, and it's just more cost efficient to just, let me just fill out this one. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I've been already watching a bunch of different art specific bullet journal, like bullet journals for artists, videos to get some ideas, and see what I want to use and what I want to implement. And you guys will get to see that in the next video. I think we'll just start off with like, plan with me September, since we've got 1 week of August left. That's where I'm at right now. One thing that I do use that has been a blessing is an online project tracking organization tool called Trello. And it's like Google Calendar without the structure. So, that's just how I use it. Like, honestly, it's just like to-do lists. And you can make a column and put in like what you want to do. And the way I use it is I have like a column of just general things I want to accomplish. And then I have like a Monday column, a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And it's like a perpetual calendar, because I can put something I want to do next Monday in the Monday tab and just put the date, so that I know, okay, well, this due date is like 3 weeks from now, so I'm not going to worry about it right now. And you can just move your blocks over to the next day and archive them and get rid of them immediately when you complete them. And I started using that this week, or I think last week, and it does help me stay on track because it's digital, so I can just pop it open and I know the tag is there. That way, if I'm not actively looking at my bullet journal, then I have like a digital thing too. So I think I'm going to use that in conjunction with my analog bullet journal, and hopefully that's like the only two systems that I'll really need to use. So we'll keep you updated on that. Thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying the series. I hope you learned something from here. If you were thinking about purchasing those 2 products that I had mentioned, I know they were last year's edition, but they come out with one every year. Those are just my thoughts on it. I don't think they're bad products. They just don't work for me, or they don't work as well for me, or maybe I don't work as well for it. But yeah, that was the system I was trying to use this year, and it just was not really working. So we're gonna move forward with a system that I know I was using pretty consistently, which was bullet journaling, and going back to that and trying to make it even more useful for me and what I need. So the next video will be me setting up my new bullet journal. So hopefully that'll be fun. I'm gonna try to make it a little more artsy and pretty and whatever, but we'll see. So yeah, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.